Hi, it's Nikki Dore. Um, Day mediation. I wanted to talk grounding because I realised that I talked about grounding to lots of people, and I thought I had realised I hadn't done a video on it, even though I've done kind of other kind of media on it. So, grounding. Now, the reason why we ground is because it holds us into the physical, holds us here, now, present, physical. So the whole, when people talk about, being and being present, what they actually mean is being here and being aware of what's going on. Now the reason why that's important, is because it's you need to be grounded into your body. You are a physical being, regardless of what. And if you are separated and parts of you going on, it is quite dangerous in the fact that people who are ungrounded tend to be not really aware of what's going on, and also they'll go off in conversations, so they don't always take in information. That's another sign of being ungrounded. So you find that people who haven't, they might thought they've listened, and then it's gone completely clumsiness, tripping, falling. And I used to be really, really ungrounded growing up, and they used to call me kind of like a cat because I'd nearly been run over so many times. Because I'd be like, ah, la, la, la. And I would literally step out or walk into lampposts. Yes, I have. And it is quite dangerous. I've slipped downstairs many times because I just wasn't aware of what I was doing, and then I was a bit of a space cadet. And now I'm being grounded, and I learned to ground. It was kind of like, whoa. And I'm not talking just if you're doing metaphysical work. It is for your everyday life. There will be a lot less accidents if you're grounded. And I think that's that kind of like, even on your mundane life, because you're aware of what you're doing. So it's a bit like, when people talk about mindfulness, they're talking about, it's really just about awareness, knowing what you're doing. Grounding keeps you anchored to the physical, anchored to the earth, because that's where we should be. And yes, there's two parts of you. There's your physical self and your energetic self. But actually, your physical self should be anchored to the earth. And so that's kind of why it's important. And, if you're doing more energy work, especially as I'm a physical medium, I have to take that very seriously, because the whole idea that people find is when you're a physical medium, they kind of assume that you don't have to be grounded. If anything, you have to be extra grounded than you have to do on your day-to-day life, and that's because you have to anchor spirit here so that they can use your physical body. But that's probably another subject. If you do want to hear more about physical mediumship, I'm always happy to do videos on it. So let's go back to grounding. Now, grounding is really simple, and in fact, actually the easiest people to learn to ground are kids. Actually kids, because when they're younger in nursery school, my mum was a nursery school teacher, and I used to go in there, and there's the acorn song. I'm not going to sing it to you, but it's like literally you're an acorn, and you grow up, and you kind of you put yourself into an acorn, and then you grow roots, and you go round down through the earth, and then you grow up into this big tree. And I still use, because I kind of like that song when I was growing up, I don't even know if it's a song. I think it's more a kind of action. And if you teach kids that, they will automatically kind of ground, because they'll just do the song. So here, for you, I use the tree, because I'm very earthy, very Taurian, and Scorpion. So actually using that tree kind of comes to me, and I love trees. So the whole idea is to anchor yourself in. So the reason why I use the tree, and you can pick something that works for you, is because you can work with the idea of the roots going into the earth through the multi-layers. Now, remember how roots grow? They don't grow like that. They grow out and down, so because they're anchoring itself so that it doesn't get knocked over, and it has to stay there, and it gets nutrients from the earth. So just think about that when you're having your visualization, your meditation. You want to visualize them going down through the earth and spreading out, because that's how it'll anchor you through. Many layers through the earth's crust, And then you go down and you can go to the center, which usually is visualized as a core. Some people visualize as a crystal. It doesn't actually matter. And then you connect to that source, the source of the earth, and then you can kind of then start thinking about, you know, growing up as a trunk, and then the leaves, and so you kind of just, you know, you can, I don't need to take you through it, because actually even, you know, you thinking about it now, you probably can kind of visualize how a tree grows, and you can pick whichever tree that you really want. Oak is always good because it's nice and solid, and it's anchored into the earth. And I don't know that much about trees, but I like an oak tree. Yeah, I do like an oak tree. So you go down. So the whole principles are you're anchoring yourself to the earth, you're connecting to the earth, and then at the same time you're growing outside. So you're growing your tree trunk, after you're taking the nutrients from the earth, and then you're going. Your leaves are going to get the sun. Now, the great thing about doing a simple meditation, it can take you, after a while, it can take you minutes, and you can draw it too. You know, you use whatever talent you can for your visualization, and pick whichever method, but actually it needs to make you feel anchored. So that's why I like the tree, but you can pick anything that resonates with you. Some people do fire. I don't really understand that, to be honest. And just think about how you're going to anchor yourself to the present. Now, the other good thing about it is you can then visualize what is the state of your health. Your both your energetic health and your physical health. What do the leaves look like? Do they need more water? Are they dry? Is the earth dry? So you can ask yourself all these questions as you visualize it. It will tell you quite a lot of questions, and you're like, what's the health of it? Is the bark staying on? All of these questions that help you understand your own health. And this should be kind of like a daily exercise, especially until you get used to it. It's a daily exercise. Now there's the other thing where you kind of anchor to the earth with the roots, and then you can draw the energy up from the ground. And there's a few quick wins, because sometimes you don't have a few minutes to do a visualization. You can't stop in the middle of the street, go, oh, I feel ungrounded, I'm feeling really a little bit trippy and not quite here, not quite in body. Because essentially that's what grounding is, in body, keeping yourself in body and present. And the step 2 being being and awareness. So if I have 2, so one you can say as I walk. So if I'm feeling ungrounded, especially if I kind of start tripping over, I slip slightly and I'm like, oh, perhaps I'm not grounded right now, I literally take one step, and then I have set the intention that when I'm walking, I'm grounding myself to the earth with every step, and I'm mindful of the way I'm walking. Anyone see me? I walk very fast, so yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do. And I have another one which I drop a bucket into a well, and that's an instant, if I feel like I need to instantly ground right now, right to a high level. When I was first starting out, I got my guides to help me, because I was very bad at grounding for about a couple of months when I was first learning physical mediumship. And I was just like, just nudge me if I'm ungrounded. And so I had a numbering system. If I fall below a 7 on my scale of grounding, then I need a nudge. I don't so much now need it because I know, but if you're working with your guides, you can say to them, can you give me a nudge? And explain, can you do this so that I know that I'm ungrounded and I need to ground really quickly. When you're first starting out, you ground morning and night. And then you ground as you do it. And then you get used to the feeling of being grounded, and you know what that's like. Once you know what it's like to be grounded, you really won't look back. And it helps in your everyday life, not just your mystical life as well. So, and this is not just to mystical people. Anybody here who is clumsy, who's not always kind of is away with the fairies, anyone who's kind of like goes off in daydreams or can't remember how you got to one place after, you know, especially when you're commuting, you look up and you're like, I'm here, not grounded. Anytime you are kind of like feeling just unsteady on your feet as well, you can kind of see, okay, let me ground. And drinking water is also very grounding, and remembering to breathe. The breath being breath is so important. Obviously, it keeps us alive, but it's actually quite grounding as well, being aware of it. Let me know how you all go with grounding, and let me know how you feel the difference with grounding. Hopefully, this has given you some quick tips. Have a good rest of your day.